told you guys I was going to be talking to you a lot this week, and right now I need to clean this. It's the top of a warmer, a wax warmer, and somehow this one just keeps getting, and there's a fly in here, this one keeps getting just nasty. Like the oils just keep baking onto the bottom, and I feel like I clean this thing every time I use it. So I don't know if it's the warmers or if it's the wax. I use different wax, so it can't be the wax. But anyway, usually I just, you can see it's already coming out. So that's what I do. So while I'm doing this, I know you can't see my face, but I thought I would talk to you a second about crying. Now, I don't know if other women my age, like middle-aged, like I'm over 45 years old, have a problem with crying almost every single day. But I do, and I didn't used to be a crier at all. Like, I can remember I cried maybe once a year, if that. I mean, I won't say I was unemotional, but I was definitely not as, I'm gonna let that sit a minute. I was definitely not as emotional as I am right now. I was talking about me crying like a baby over the silliest things. And one of the things I'm crying about the most right now is, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, my daughter is going to college, and she's driving herself, and it's a long way away, and there's semis, and she has to drive a ridiculous amount each day, and she has 2 jobs now, and it equals, both of her jobs probably equal 25 hours a week. So she's gone in the morning to school, and then she's going to work, and then I'm not getting to see her until like she gets off at like 9:30, so I'm not getting to see her until like 10 o'clock at night, and by then I'm about ready to pass out. So, and then my son is 15, and my husband works a lot, so I think that's one reason I'm having information overload, is because in order to distract myself from crying, I watch a lot of TV. Not like Netflix or Amazon Prime, although I do watch the occasional movie, or, you know, I'll get like all caught up in some of my favorite shows. A lot of the Netflix things, though, I can't even watch anymore. And believe it or not, I edit out so much yibber yabber out of my videos. I yibber yabber during the haul videos. I yibber yabber during Clean With Me. I'm always talking, and then I realize, like, they're not watching this video to hear me go on and on about whatever. And so I edit it out. So you don't hear what I've actually told you. But I guess that's fine. I get it out of my system one way or the other. But, you know, I've gone on and on about Netflix before. And when we first got it, it didn't seem as bad. But it seems like every time, like one of my favorite shows will get new episodes, and I'll watch them till they're done. So I have to look for a new show to watch, and a lot of times the new shows are like TVMA, and some of those Netflix shows can be like soft pornography, where they don't actually show you maybe body parts, but they show you exactly what they're doing, and I don't want to watch that. We tried to watch like a cooking show with Seth Rogen and somebody else, and the very first episode, in the very first like 5 minutes, they were in Vancouver. They'd said, they dropped the F-bomb like 5 or 6 times. They were smoking pot. Not only smoking pot, but showing us a new way to smoke pot. I don't want to watch that. It's not like, I've been young before. I grew up in the 80s, and the TV just wasn't as deviant as it is today. And to watch something like, to hear a cuss word, or, you know, to see somebody like partially naked, it was like, oh my gosh. Like, it was shocking, but at the same time, it was kind of like, like, I just got away with something, you know? I don't feel like that anymore. In fact, I'm like, I've seen enough, I've watched enough for my lifetime. I don't need to see any more of this deviant filth. And I turn it off. Like, I don't even know why we have Netflix right now. I watched Father Brown. I watched all the BBC I can find. I watched, what is that show? Call the Midwife. You know, and then if they're not having sex, doing drugs, they're like dying right before your eyes. There's no suspenseful music so you can turn your head. They show you in graphic detail how people are dying, how they're being tortured, or how they have died. And it's like watching people's nightmares. That's what Netflix really feels like to me now. It's like watching other people's nightmares. And so we're spending time, you know, if you allow yourself to do that, you're pretty much spending your free time watching just nightmarish, disgusting filth. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Is it because that's all that's on offer? We've all cut off our DirecTV. We're all watching Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube. There's some things on Amazon Prime that are kind of like old-fashioned, that we don't have the patience to watch anymore because our attention span has shrunk. We can't just sit there and watch people talking. There has to be CGI. There has to be like quick scene changes, you know, this angle, this angle, this angle. We get so much information in 1 minute with modern filming techniques, even on YouTube, that we get bored just sitting down watching people talk, you know, like. So there are things you can find on Amazon Prime that are decent, but like I said, it's boring to the modern mind. So what are we supposed to do? Okay, let me throw another one at you. YouTube sponsorships. So, you know, one of my solutions was just watch other moms like myself, you know, people like myself. And, but now, so I did that, but the bigger these channels get, a lot of them are taking sponsorships and they're not putting it in the title of their video. And it's so rude. It is so rude and disrespectful. It's kind of like if somebody were to invite you over to their house for lunch or dinner, and you go over to their house, and when dinner finishes, they whip out their essential oils, doTERRA or Young Living or whatever, and try to sell it to you. And you're like, what? So, I didn't just come over here for dinner. You're trying to sell me a product. It's very underhanded, it's very covert, and it's like the opposite of classy. It's the opposite of how you want to be viewed. So if you want to be a channel that gets money for making videos and does sponsored videos, that's fine. Because probably not all of your videos are going to be sponsored. But put the word ad or sponsor in your title, because to not do that just makes you look so like unclassy, so like money grabbing and just deceitful. And I can't stand it. And so many people are doing that lately. And I would love to, like every week, you know, all of the videos that I have watched that have been sponsored, but people have not disclosed that until you get to maybe the middle or the end. I would just like to expose these people. But I'm probably not going to do that, just because it would make me feel angry a big portion of the day, and I don't want to feel like that. Like, I don't know these people personally, so why would I waste my time doing that? And I don't know, like, if this bothers other people enough that they would even like click on the video that I created and be like, oh yeah, like we're you know, sponsored videos exposed, you know, like, do other people really care? I have a feeling that the people who don't care are the other YouTubers who were also doing secretly sponsored videos. But I tell you what, so if you have a sponsored video, you need to put it in the title. Chances are, if I like you, I'm going to watch you anyway. But I can guarantee you that if it's a covertly sponsored video, I'm clicking off of it the minute I find out. Not only that, but I won't buy that brand. Like, I will go out and I will avoid buying anything from, you know, I won't buy anything from ThreadUp. I will not buy anything from anybody that I know is asking people to make covertly sponsored videos. I think it's ridiculous. YouTube used to be like a safe space to, you know, just say what you want to say, and now it's turned into yet another way for people to get more and more money for false and for their false and greedy values. I really I have a problem with it. So so these videos this week are going to be rambly. I'm going to have like diarrhea of the mouth probably. I'm going to be talking about controversial issues that you may or may not agree with. And I'm going to ruffle some feathers. I already know I am. But you're going to get offended. But that's okay, because we don't all have to agree on everything. In fact, I think America has lost the ability to... So let me show you. I cleaned it out, like not perfectly, but it's pretty clean. This one is from Hobby Lobby. It doesn't put out a great deal of scent, but it is very pretty. And that one over there is from Walmart. and it's also very pretty. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I think one thing that we've lost in America is the ability to disagree with people without making them into villains. So, for example, say you don't agree with me about the sponsored videos. I've left some pretty harsh messages on some people's sponsored videos, and I probably shouldn't have, but they kind of irritated me, and in the moment I just felt like I needed to say something, and I was offended. I wasn't offended, I was pissed off, because I felt like, I just felt like, why would you, like I said, it felt like somebody had invited me into their home, duped me, like invited me in, and then tried to sell me something undercover. So that kind of, like, I've left some pretty harsh comments. One in particular that I'm thinking of right now that I probably should have worded better. So this is Leaves Pomegranate by L3 Waxy Wonders, and I'm gonna go put this in my warmers. But that was an example of me disagreeing with somebody, and I probably could have handled it better, like I said. So I'm not trying to be hypocritical. Even I do it. Even, you know, I disagree with people, and if they don't agree with me, sometimes I get offended. But I know that it's me. Like, I'm offended. They're not offended. They probably didn't even realize that anybody cared. Or if you're talking to somebody directly, like you're not, like, if like I'm talking to somebody one-on-one and I know that person, I'm not going to try to offend them, and I'm going to probably like watch what I say. And even sometimes tell a little white lie, or just try and change the subject, you know, especially religion, politics, that type of thing. But, you know, if you're talking about people's children or spouses or whatever, and yeah, you don't want to always be super truthful, but at the same time, if you're in a discussion with people, like face to face, let's not do this on the internet, but if we're in a discussion with people face to face and you disagree with me, it's not the end of the world. Like, your head's not going to explode. It's not going to affect you, your bank account. You know, monsters are not going to come eat your children in the middle of the night. All we've done is disagree. And it shouldn't even change, like, how you see me. And it shouldn't change how I see you. So, if I offend you with my ramblings this week, it's not my intention. These are my opinions. I'm entitled to them. It's how I feel. So, like, don't take it personally. So I'm gonna stop yabbering on for now. And I told my husband I would make him an apple cake, so I need to eat lunch, and I am going to get started on the apple cake and probably clean my kitchen. Okay, so one of the danger times for me for letting in too much information is, well, I already mentioned the crying. That could happen at any time during the day. But another time is lunch. I am having ham and cheese on rye with Fritos, and this is chili con queso dip. Yeah, I know it's not the healthiest lunch, but it's what I have. So, my phone. Normally I would sit here and watch YouTube videos, or go in my bedroom, turn on the TV, and watch YouTube. I'm not going to do that today. But this is a dangerous time for me. So I think that's important to know. So what are your dangerous times? Leave it in the comment below. So I made it through lunch, but here I am in my third opportunity to watch YouTube. So I told my husband I would make the apple coffee cake. And I just looked, I have everything, and I have the apples ready to peel, and there's my phone. So what I normally do, because my phone will sit right here, but in order to see and hear, I just have to finagle it. But I can also, I can put it here and then put that there. I can't see it. I can't always see it very well, but I will sit here and watch YouTube videos. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But because I'm feeling overwhelmed and I don't want to put any more information into my brain, I'm just letting you know, like, my default, like what I normally do. So it's almost 2 o'clock, and right now is when I start. I already know what I'm gonna make for dinner, because I have this slapdash beautiful menu. Yeah, I have kept these before, like, so I could go back to them, but I never went back to them. So on here is chicken Alfredo, and when I get finished making them, I just scratch them off, as you can see. And this actually didn't take very long to make. I should have scratched out chicken salad because I made that last night. But it's just some things that I had been craving, or, you know, for the fall, things I normally make. So I usually have some sort of menu that I'm working off of. Not always, you know, but usually, at least like a rough idea. And that's what I call a rough idea. I mean, it's not written out beautifully and in a special menu notebook. Like, I know some people have like special notebooks that they have just for, you know, menus. I know one YouTuber I watch has it's like a 5-star like spiral notebook, and she'll write out like 2 weeks or a month worth of like menu ideas, and then she'll like go back and reference those, you know, which is a great idea, and that's why I was saving mine. But I never went back and referenced them. So, and they're on little bitty pieces, well, not little bitty, but they're on, you know, notepad paper. And but that's just me, you know. I try to write, I try to do things like other people like other people say to do them, and I just end up doing it my way anyway. So other people are, so this morning when I was watching YouTube, there was a recommended person who came up to me. Yeah, not came up to me, that would have been awful because I was in my nightgown and my robe, but was on the recommended videos, and I'd never heard of her before. And so I was I'm reluctant to click on new people. I don't always do it. But I decided, I was like, what's a mini mom? Is it like a really short person? Like, does that mean they have a minivan? Does that mean like they're really short videos? I was just intrigued by her name. Like, what is a mini mom? So I clicked on her, and she's this charming young woman from somewhere else. Like, she has a different accent, New Zealand or something. And I watched a couple of her videos this morning while I was having my coffee, and she has this system of menu planning and keeping that is so organized and like precise, and it's very, you know, if I were to guess, I would think she was like Swedish or something, or, you know, because her house is very like white with like a lot of natural wood and very, very minimal. And so I just thought, you know, I can't, that's beyond me. Is it really? Nah, it's not. Is it a minimal, beautiful house really like that beyond me? No. But it would take a lot of effort to get there, wouldn't it? I'd have to like either have really awesome garage sales every weekend or donate my stuff, which I'm not really willing to do. Stupid fly. I'm gonna get that fly this time. Anyway, my point is, I was letting in to my house, myself, my person, somebody else's idea. It was a good idea. It was a great idea. It works for her, that's great. But she's somebody I don't even know who lives in a different country. And while I appreciate spending time with people on YouTube, and they don't even know I'm spending time with them, because if they're not live, you know, how do they know? But here I was spending time with somebody that I don't even know, comparing myself to her and feeling bad. Before social media, I would never have known about anybody's way of keeping their recipes or their menu ideas, or know anything about their life or how they budget, or, you know, any of that, unless they were my mom, my grandma, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. You know what I mean? And now, YouTube, with the magic of social media, I get to see all these things that may or may not be beneficial to me. Now, I am on my 4th apple. I have this many apples, and how many cups of apples do I need? I need 3 cups of apples. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I am going to keep chopping and keep peeling, and this would make a great Instagram post. Let me show you. Wouldn't that make a great Instagram post? Yeah. So there's my unbaked apple cake, and it just preheated. So I am going to put this in the oven for 45 minutes. So I feel like I've done a great deal of talking today, and I have a few minutes, so I am going to meditate, because that's one of the things that I said I should probably do instead of letting information in. So I'm just sitting here in front of my couch. I'm sitting in a seated position with my legs crossed Indian style. I'll probably put my hands up. You can say the And what you want to do is you want to start with the ah and end with the m, but you're kind of imagining, like, when you start with the ah, you're kind of imagining like squeezing all the air out. So when you get to the you want to have no more air in your lungs. You want to get all the air out of your lungs. And when you're saying your ohms or your ahms, it really does help to clear your mind, because when I try to just sit here and close my eyes and meditate without doing my ohms, I get very distracted, and my concentration, I just end up chasing rabbits in my head. So that's one thing that I would encourage you to do. It's one thing I need to do more, and that's something that I am going to do now.